AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
Welcome to our podcast series, Overcomers Overcoming, where we profile those who have either overcome or are in the process of overcoming some life event. Our purpose is to make sure you know, to give you the assurance that no matter what life event you are experiencing, there are others who have experienced something very similar to you, and there are multiple solutions to whatever life event you are experiencing, and there are others who have gone through what you are experiencing. I'm Ron Cooper, founder of the Cooper Culture. I'm with my wife and business partner, Marty, who are producing and sponsoring this Overcomers series. We hope that we can garner your approval for a 5-star rating and that you'll subscribe to this series. Today we feature Sandy Mattingly, who lost a 21-year-old son to drug abuse. You'll learn from her very impassioned, and passionate experience that she possibly could have been more involved with her son had she been aware of some of the things that he was experiencing, some of the things in his life. One of our purposes in featuring Sandy is to learn from her experience such that we might be able to identify any of the traits that could be a propensity of someone else abusing drugs. Our purpose is to be helpful by engaging others to help them avoid the propensity of becoming abusive with drugs. It is not our intent to stigmatize or otherwise label people, but rather effectively engage with those who can use our help. Our purpose is to be very meaningful in our interaction with, in relationships that we can garner with others, with the hope that we can help avoid the tragedy that Sandy has experienced. Join with us as you learn from and listen to her very difficult experience. Sandy, thank you very much for joining us in this podcast of Overcomers Overcoming. Sandy, it's my understanding that you experienced a devastating loss in your family, your son Chase, to a drug overdose. Am I on track with that, Sandy? And this podcast is being recorded 1 week before Christmas. This has to be just a devastating time of year for you.
Ron, first, I'm honored to be here. To be able to share with you some of my overcoming. But deep down inside, yes, it is very tragic, and I really don't want to be here, but I need to help, and that's what helps me to try to overcome this tragedy, yes, and every Christmas it has been very difficult.
Sandy, thank you for your courage, and our listeners are going to learn talking with you that I think you are a person of admirable courage. You have taken this devastating experience, you're learning from it and moving forward, albeit it's just devastating. But Sandy, can you just give us enough of the past to have our listeners understand a little bit about Chase and your understanding of what led to his addiction and this devastating loss?
I lost Chase. He was only 21 years old, and we lost him to a overdose, unexpected, unintentional. It's going on 3 years now, February 28, 2018. And again, he was only 21 years old. I don't believe that Chase was an addict. I do, in my heart, believe, I know for a fact, that he was experimenting with drugs. That's definite. We were informed by the medical examiner, in a nutshell, that Chase died from a fentanyl intoxication. And I had no idea what fentanyl was when I was notified. I was horrified that he died from something I had never even heard of. We believe that Chase ingested what's called a fake Xanax pill, and it was made with fentanyl. They press these pills now, and they use fentanyl to press them. Fentanyl is a pain medication that is supposed to be a controlled pain medication, and it is only supposed to be used in hospitals to treat critical pain, like those in critical cancer patients. Unfortunately, today it is a drug additive that is on the street, and it's being mixed with heroin, it's being mixed with cocaine and various other drugs. It's being pressed into pills. Those who are addicted to oxycodone, Xanax, heroin, fentanyl is most likely in those drugs, and if you use it, they're going to kill you. Now, I'm not going to say that today, almost 3 years later, what I've learned is that over the course now, is that Chase could have easily been in the throes of early addiction. I don't like to think back, but when you're in my situation as a mother who will always grieve the loss of her child, you always look back and you wonder, what was it, what is, or what was that you could have seen or done to help not have to live through this this outcome. And when I look back, there were signs. I can't really put the nail on the head, but put the head on the nail. I don't know, but there were signs. Today I have learned that parents need to be so much more attentive. If you suspect that something's wrong with your child, I don't care if that child's 13 years old or 35 years old, if they're in your presence and you suspect that something's wrong, you need to talk to them immediately.
Cindy, thank you. This is a very important aspect of our podcast. You mentioned possibly early throes of addiction. In hindsight, and I know it's difficult to identify, but can you help our listeners maybe identify some of what I call the leading traits that just maybe could be an early indicator that you have I use the term propensity to engage in drugs? And Sandy, I want to be very careful not to label anybody, but can we help this person through very meaningful, effective relationships to help them rationally think into whatever the factors may be that you see based on your experience as leading indicators?
I can tell you that from my experience as a single mom at the time too, Chase, all teenagers go through self-esteem issues, and Chase had some self-esteem issues. They all do. They want to be popular. They want to be, well liked by their friends. They want to be in a crowd. They want to be doing all of the things that everybody seems to be doing. And but Chase was also a very positive young man, and I can tell you, as far as looking back now and the signs of him possibly being in the throes of early addiction, I noticed just several months before he passed, and he passed at a friend's house. I was notified unexpectedly after I had come home from work on a given day. He was found unresponsive at another location. Anyway, several months prior to that event, Chase would step in the house, and being at 21 years old, he came and went on his own free will. But if I suspected that something was wrong, I would try to talk to him, and in several occasions, he was very rude to me, very disrespectful. So I knew something was wrong. That's one sign right there. When you know that your child is not exhibiting the behavior that you expect of them. And he was a humble, loving, very well-respected young man. But that would change in a matter of a couple days. He would be back to himself. Another sign would be that he would sleep. He would sleep for a couple days in a row sometimes. Didn't make any sense to me. Now, 2.5 to 3 years later, and learning what I've learned from my relationship with addicts in recovery, various individuals at the health department, I can tell you that any unusual behavior that your child is exhibiting is a cause for you to step in and find out what the hell is going on with them. When he would sleep for several days, I'm learning now that it's possible he could have been going through withdrawal from whatever drug he may have experimented with several days prior to that. Because when he would come out and not be in a restful situation, he would be very vibrant, like the Chase that I'm used to. So, and just various other, things that I can think about. His hygiene, the way he kept his room, and just, the way he would interact with you. If any of these signs are not normal, something's wrong.
What I think I'm hearing from you, Sandy, is there was a clear, marked difference in Chase's behavior. Can you tell us over what period of time this was? Was it years? Was it a few months as you think back on that? And again, what my purpose in asking this question is some of the identifying traits that might cause us to stop what we're doing and get involved.
I want to say at 21, Chase was a Northern High School graduate, 2014. Smart kid. He graduated Academy of Finance. And so that puts us in 2014. Chase didn't actively start using any type of drug until, I want to say, and I'm guessing here, because again, I wasn't that attentive. I was busy. I was the busy mom, working and doing, and had activities in a life too. But I did see Chase every day. He lived at home. I want to say maybe 2016. So that puts him at 18, 19 years old. He started smoking marijuana. And when it got to be to the point where it was in the house or stinking up the house, it was, no, you do not do this in here. Telltale signs would be paraphernalia items that I would find in the bedroom. Okay, I would trash his room when I saw those items. I would sit him down. We would have discussions. He would pay consequences. He would lose the keys to the car. He would, I would put restrictions on him as best I could at that age. But I do believe that over the course of time, that drug use escalated. I want to say that maybe at 20, he was holding down a really, really good paying job. And he was a very dedicated employee. But there were signs that he was dabbling in something, because he would sleep for a couple days in a row. He would, his moods would change. That would last throughout a week or two. And then he would be fine. After we would have what I used to call mom and son smackdowns, he would be fine. And he would be the normal 20-year-old working, paying rent. He paid his own car payment, his insurance. He paid his bills. He was very responsible. And he would be what I would consider normal for about 6 months. And then all of a sudden, something odd would happen again. And it's hard to describe. I would be right on top of him about it, but he would assure me, and you love your children, and you would believe them, And he would assure me that he wasn't messing with any other drugs, that he was fine.
Sandy, you are, gosh, just very articulate. For the listener who's saying you're describing a person, my family member or whomever, you're describing exactly what they are doing. In hindsight, Sandy, can you suggest to those of us in that situation, we're learning, what can we do to effectively intervene? Is there anything we can do?
Well, if you don't want to end up in my situation, because overcoming this tragedy, I haven't overcome this tragedy. You will never, ever overcome something like this. You just learn to live with it. And so my suggestion, Ron, for the parents out there that may have suspicions, may see their children exhibiting any of these characteristics that I'm trying to identify for you, my biggest suggestion, I have two of them. One, talk to them. When you feel that something's not right, there's a suspicion that something's not right, you must sit them down, you must take the time, and you must talk to them about this. And the second item that is extremely important that I was not on top of is that you need to know about drug use. You need to know about substance use. You need to know about abuse. You must educate yourself. When I think back now, and the fact that I had no idea in 2018 that there was an opioid drug crisis going on in this society that started in 2014, I was devastated. I beat myself up over it. And then the mere fact that my son died from what they call fentanyl intoxication, I had no idea what fentanyl was. I do now. Once you are armed with the education that you need on substance use and abuse, please, please share it with your children. Make sure that your children, I don't care again if they're 13 years old or 14 years old, if you think that they have the ability to understand in elementary school, by God, you must share this information about drug use. Ask your child today if they know what fentanyl is. Ask them if they know, and if they don't, you must tell them what fentanyl is and how it's used. Fentanyl will kill you, and that's exactly what it did to my son, unbeknownst to me. I'm not even too sure today if he knew what that drug was. I'm sure, I'm positive that he had no intention of using a drug that he knew would kill him.
Sandy, I want to say I really appreciate what you're saying and telling. You answered part of my question, or that Ron had, but to the parent that says, I'm scared to talk to my children, they won't like me, how do they become strong and say, this is it, and set rules down like you did? How do they save their children? Do they talk to them about, are they being bullied at school? Are they, what's happening? Is something going on in the home that just makes them have the security in the home? What's going on? And be honest. How do they go ahead and talk to their children and get them to open up to them?
I want to add to that just a little bit, Sandy. Awareness and education, so that we know to be aware of. I think that is huge. Which we're going to talk about this. You have a nonprofit, and it's a matter of us on the, I use the term outside, being aware of what's happening in people's lives. And there's another aspect, as Marty's alluding to it, that I have to put enough priority on what's happening that my job, at least for the next few minutes, has to be secondary to the person that I think has the propensity to make less than good decisions. Sandy, I'm very interested in your thoughts.
Marty, Ron, yeah, it's hard. Parents don't go through training. That's what I'm going to start off with. None of us are trained to be parents. We have to learn from our mistakes, and we have to hit the ground running with this. to try to touch base, Marty, on your statements. If your mental health is extremely important, and I go back to what I said regarding Chase. Chase was smart and he was positive. He was humble at times. He would give you the shirt off his back. He was a very giving, loving young man and child growing up. However, I know, and I'm going to be completely honest here, I know that he had probably a little bit more self-esteem issues than the average teenager with self-esteem issues that are just typical. And the reason I say that is because Chase was only 4 years old when myself and his father divorced. So when I look back now, there is going to be a reason for a child to pick up a drug. There will be a reason. I don't care if it's just experimental, trying it. You can teach them all you want about Red Ribbon Week in school and not to use drugs. Do not use drugs. But if a child has a reason, if they're sad, if there's something going on in the home, if they're being bullied, I don't have the answer for parents out there, but I can tell you that, and I'm going to advise you, reach out, because there are many resources out there. There are so many resources that aren't even being used. I never felt the need to reach out to a resource. And when I say resources, I mean, county resources, friends and family resources. If you don't feel comfortable or you're scared and you can't talk to your child, see if they have an older sister or brother or sibling, a cousin, a neighbor they're close to. Find somebody that might be close to your child, a teacher, a counselor. You have to reach out. Don't hesitate, because you're feeling a suspicion that something's wrong with your child. You want to help your child. By God, find the help for your child. Do it. Chase, again, I can't say enough. Chase and I were so close. I still sit here today and live every day, and sometimes I am still numb that I cannot believe that this happened to my son. I thought that I did everything that needed to be done. I played the mom and the dad, believe me. Chase's self-esteem issues, and I'm really not going to get into naming names or pointing fingers, but we struggled as a single mom. There were times I felt like I had to be the bad guy in our family realm, if you will. Boys can be tough, and I was tough on him. I might have been too tough on him, but we were close. He loved me, and I know that. And I don't have any guilt to this life I'm living and the loss of my son. I miss him terribly. But that's why I established the nonprofit too. And in a nutshell too, as well, we are another resource. Chase B. Mattingly for the Fight. We're known as Positive Vibes. And just very, very briefly, the nonprofit has been in existence since, I want to say June or July of 2018. It gives me a purpose. What we do is we focus on bringing about more awareness to substance use and abuse by educating our parents, empowering our youth, and promoting hope and recovery. Find your purpose if you're in my shoes as a parent who has lost a child to an overdose or substance use. If you're a parent out there struggling and not knowing what to do because you suspect something is going on in your family, look at what might be causing it. Try to identify what might be causing it. If you can't, you're nervous, you're scared, reach out.
Sandy, something very important. For those listeners who are old enough to know about All in the Family, Carol O'Connor, who played Archie Bunker, he made the impassioned appeal: do whatever you have to do to get between your children, and drugs. Sandy, you made the very impassioned appeal. How would you address the parent or the person who may be thinking, well, this time will pass. I don't know how really effectively to engage, but maybe this is just a little bit of a period in this person's life. This time will pass. It'll all work itself out. I don't know how to engage. I'm not even sure that I can engage. How would you address a person like that?
That one is so tough because, Ron, I was there. I'm not going to deny it. There were times during the course of that, somewhere between, 19, 20, 21, a few months before we lost Chase, I wanted to believe that after we had our battle, we'd have that smackdown, I would engage with him and I would scream at him. But I would always console myself that he was smart and that this too shall pass, that he's going to listen to me and he's going to overcome whatever is causing him to either use or be sad. I don't have the answer. It's hard to suggest to a parent that might be scared, that might not know how to engage. I'm at a loss with that one. I would have to say, by God, pick up the phone. I'm going to also throw out there a resource that I do know of that just came into being within the last year, maybe two. It's been worked on within the health department. It's called the Rapid Recovery Response. Oh, well, I've still got this wrong. It's the Mobile Crisis Team.
Mm-hmm.
And this Mobile Crisis Team is headed up through Calvert Behavioral Health, okay? And I can't give them enough kudos. This team of individuals is made up of recovering addicts. Mm-hmm. And you know how we dial 911 mm-hmm. when we have an emergency, okay? Unfortunately, to get the attention of the Mobile Crisis Team, you have to dial the number, and it is published. I don't have it offhand. It's a 1-877 number. I'm in collaboration, Positive Vibes, and some of the other organizations here in the county. We're going to try this year, early 2021, I hope, to get more information out regarding the Mobile Crisis Team. But they are a unit who responds to the community upon phone call of a mental health or substance use crisis. And they arrive at your residence, if necessary, if that's what you want, to help you deal with a mental health or a substance use situation. They provide rapid response treatment to your family, to the individual that might be in crisis. And this service and this resource is one of the best I have ever seen come about. If that hadn't existed, I don't know. I probably wasn't in the state of mind at that time as a parent. I probably wouldn't have called them, only because there's a part of us as parents or family members or even friends that don't want to believe that our child has an issue. But after experiencing what I've experienced, and it's been several years now, and what I've learned and what I'm seeing, there's hundreds of thousands of families out there across the country right now that are in my shoes, and I don't want to see another mom or dad or family member. What they say online now or in social media about this is I don't want you to join my club. I don't want you to join our club. Like Archie Bunker, do whatever it takes, because the drugs out there today are killing our youth. Abstinence is what I recommend, but that's going to be a long time coming. Again, it's hard for me to answer this. I can only say that there are resources, and you can reach out to me too. Positive Vibes. We're on Facebook, Chase B. Mattingly for the Fight on Facebook. This is a tough, ongoing, evolving crisis, along with COVID, and COVID has actually made this crisis even worse.
Sandy, thank you for being very transparent, articulate. Let me ask you, as a let's just say that the listeners who have the propensity to be proactive, and let's just say that Sandy, you and I, Marty, had developed a very meaningful relationship with you, such that we can just sense, Sandy, there's something just a little bit different about you. And maybe you would say, if I've developed a trust in you to where we can genuinely communicate, you would say to me that, yes, I've just noticed some things about my son and I'm at a loss. I don't know. Can we effectively work with you as a mom who's very concerned, who might just be kind of in the sideline, meaning I don't know what to do. I'm at a total loss. Sandy, I think there's some people like this. And so my passion would be, Marty's as well, would be to be able to effectively interrelate with you to help you deal with Chase. Is that a possible way to help this situation? I'm asking you to look back and just see.
Ron, yes, I totally agree with that analogy. I mean, if you're a parent and you're not sure now, see, when I look back, I didn't feel like I needed to reach out. I didn't feel like Chase was in addiction. I still don't believe he was in addiction, but I'm not going to deny that he couldn't have been in the throes of the beginning because of some of the things I've learned. But to answer your question, yes, if I was living with a addicted family member and I knew that they were in full-blown addiction and needed help but didn't even know what to do, I am going to highly suggest that you do reach out, that you do embrace any type of resource. Ron, yes, as a parent, if you were available to talk to, I would certainly have you maybe talk to my son, a teacher. I would recommend to that parent, if you can find somebody that I do believe I'm going to say stranger, but no, you and Marty are not strangers anymore. Maybe when I first walked in the door, but now we're friends. I would highly recommend that if you feel you have to, bring an outsider in to talk to your family member, your child, your teenager, or if there's any way that you can convince them, or you go meet somebody, you reach out and meet somebody, and then find a way to get your family member to that person. If you are a shy, scared, and once again, I don't know what I'm going to do with this kid of mine. Social media is out there. Social media is scary at times, and if you're not technically capable or whatnot, you got to reach out. You just got to reach out and find somebody. If you trust that somebody, put that stranger with your friend. Maybe that'll get that family member or child to talk. Maybe that's what it takes, is somebody that doesn't know them.
Yes, and I do agree with that, Sandy. And I think if I can reflect on Carol O'Connor again, do whatever is required. Yes, there are times we have to just look deep inside of us and say, I'm so uncomfortable, I don't even have the courage to do. But it's a matter, in my opinion, Sandy, those of us to be as proactive, do whatever we have to do without being judgmental.
Oh, yeah.
We are not in the business of labeling. That's not our point. That kind of thing, that kind of behavior has no value. But I do believe if we can just establish a very meaningful, genuine relationship such that Marty has the expression, you will hear me speaking from my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And when you know that's exactly where we are, then perhaps we can reach out to you. But Sandy, let me ask you, let's just turn the conversation just a little bit. You're grieving. And this is a time of year, we're just 1 week from Christmas. in recording this podcast to the parents, to anybody who has lost a loved one and they too are grieving. Oh my goodness. Talk to us about the grieving process. How do you deal with this? This is, my guess is you're always going to live this experience for the rest of your life, but yet you are a proactive person. You've established a nonprofit organization. You're reaching out to others based on your experience to say, to some degree, you don't have to experience what I am experiencing, but I want to help you overcome whatever it is you are experiencing. Sandy, can you help us with this?
Well, yeah, like I mentioned before, you don't ever overcome something like this. And I'm not going to say that I don't have bad moments. I used to have bad days, but you learn to live. It's a new life when you've lost a child. Now, I've lost both my parents as well, but the unfortunate part of life when you lose a child, you literally lose a part of your own heart and soul. You lose part of your being, and it sucks. It just sucks, let me tell you. What keeps me going is a couple things. Chase and I did have a great relationship, so that is a big part of it. However, I know some of us, well, I know for a fact that all mothers, on the mother aspect, and maybe the fathers too, but I'm not a father. It doesn't matter what kind of relationship you have with your child. You will always love them. We've all heard unconditional love, so it doesn't matter really what kind of relationship you had with your child if you've lost them. The catch is twofold. When I first lost Chase, and I'll make this as brief as possible, I was so angry with my son. I blamed him for his death. I was so angry, and that anger stuck with me for at least 6 months. But I couldn't get nothing done. I was consumed with anger towards him. I couldn't believe he had done this to me. And how selfish is that? The first thing that you must do is you must forgive. And that's a hard thing to do. And I learned that through Calvert Hospice. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't go to any training. I didn't go to any programs. But one day, they published a butterfly release type of event that they have every year for those grieving. And I went to this event, and I promised myself that I was going to participate. And I also, another brief part of this was I had already established positive vibes, and I was having a hard time with this anger. I reached out to a resource in Lusby to participate in an event. And this woman, in talking to a perfect stranger, she's the one that guided me towards forgiveness. And that's all I'm going to say about that for the moment. You must forgive. You must forgive if you're angry at your loved one who's passed, or if you're angry at yourself for any reason. You did not cause this. And if you're angry at your loved one, let them go. That's what I was advised. They need to move on in their afterlife, and you need to move on in your current life because you're still here. So that leads me to the second item of overcoming. To move on, to try to live the best life you can in your new life. You must establish a purpose. If you don't establish a purpose, then you will swallow and wallow yourself up in whatever number of blankets you have in your bed and under your pillows, and you will never come up out of this. And I see it. I see it all the time in some of the groups that I am involved in with grieving parents and grieving mothers. Please wake up, find a purpose, whether it be a craft, a job, a new job. Helping people out is my purpose, and I wanted to help. I wanted to help in this crisis. I've chose to help with this crisis. Gratitude. Oh my God. Find a way to be more grateful. That helps out a lot too. It really does. A lot of people will turn to religion, but I will be honest, I'm not a very religious person, but I am spiritual. I believe Chase is with me. That's another thing. I do believe he's with me. I'm very open-minded, and I let him guide me. I talk to him. At times, I mean, I'm not crazy, but I do talk to him at times. Sometimes angrily. I do get angry still, but not like I used to. And then, you will never get over this. I actually teared up on my way to this podcast interview, only because I was thinking of why I'm here. Other than that, I'm honored to be here. But forgiveness, purpose, find a purpose. And I have literally found more gratitude in my life. And that gratitude has helped me tremendously.
Sandy, I think your message to the grieving people is, in your case, Chase's positive legacy will live on.
Thank you.
The sting of what happened has hopefully passed, but that's not a statement that we have forgotten. Chase, his positive legacy will always live on. But in finding your purpose in life, why you're here, you have to live today and forward, not live always in the past. That time moves on, and you can learn from the past, but use that from today forward to help others. Sandy, my observation of you is that your heart's desire is you want to add value to people based on your experience. You're moving forward, albeit Chase's positive legacy is always there, but you want to add value to people. You have the experience.
That's correct. I'm doing this in his honor and memory.
Yes.
Another part is that you want to talk about them. Believe me, if you talk about your loved one in the grieving process, it keeps them alive, and therefore it helps to keep you alive. It really does. And I do want him to be remembered. I'm his mom, of course I do. But there are a lot of people that need our help. And I truly have convinced myself, and I believe it's a spiritual thing, that Chase sacrificed. He was taken for a reason. I believe that we are put on this earth, what this earth is, and we do have a purpose. And once our purpose is fulfilled, then we move on. I believe Chase's purpose was fulfilled. I believe I still have work to do. And I choose to do my work in his honor and memory.
Sandy, thank you again for your transparency. As we bring this in for a close, tell us again about your not-for-profit organizations that people can turn to learn from your experiences.
Okay. I established this nonprofit. It is a 501c3. It's officially Chase B. Mattingly for the Fight, Incorporated. We're known through the Southern Maryland area as Positive Vibes. Chase had a tattoo on his forearm, and it said, "Heart and mind overcome all." And that was something he did, and that was his tattoo, his choice. So that is our mantra, heart and mind overcome all. And I truly believe that, because heart and mind is a mental, that's part of the mental health. It just makes me think to myself that, there's a reason. There's always a reason, a purpose. Positive Vibes, we are out there, and we've been out there. Look us up on Facebook under Chase B. Mattingly for the Fight on Facebook. Positive Vibes is just our logo and our doing business as. In the meantime, our mission and goal, once again, is to educate our parents. Parents, Positive Vibes has a hidden in plain sight exhibit that we were doing in person prior COVID, pre-COVID, I will say. And since COVID hit almost a year ago, and we've all been isolated and so forth, no more in-person events, schools are closed, I bucked up, as much as I hated to do it, but I bucked up and I did a virtual video. And you can also access that video. It's a little lengthy, but it needs to be. Hidden in plain sight is a parent educational interactive exhibit. It's a mock teenage bedroom with 33 hidden signs of drugs within the room. And it also has an additional number of signs that could be suspicious, for a total of like 55 or whatnot. You can access this video as an educational tool via our Facebook page. It's one of our parent educational entities to help educate our parents. Second, we empower our youth. We try to empower our youth. We hold a annual color run youth celebration, and we held our second one, and we did it in person in September of 2020. It was a huge success over our 2019 color run. You can also look up information on our color run on our Facebook page. And then we also have a mission of promoting hope and recovery. All of these things are my passion and in Chase's honor and memory. So we're out there, we're a resource. We collaborate with many organizations and with our recovering addicts that are out there trying to help the community as well. We're all out there for you. So, visit our page, reach out, we'll do what we can.
Sandy, thank you. And I think one of the messages of this podcast is we are all together. Mm-hmm. We are in for a purpose. We want to reach out and help add value to others who are learning about how to cope with drugs and anything. You have experienced the grieving. You are very experienced, unfortunately, to a degree, in having the experience to help others overcome. Sandy, thank you for your transparency. I know this is very difficult to relive, but I do think you're going to have a very positive impact on every one of our listeners, and thank you for sharing.
Thank you for having me, Ron, Marty. It's been a pleasure under the circumstances, and yes, I hope I can help.
Let us know your thoughts after sharing Sandy's very compelling story. She has started two non-for-profit organizations, the purpose of each is to help through awareness the fentanyl epidemic. She explains that there are some people who are in denial. There are some people who feel they have a stigma. We need to be educated. We need to be aware of those things that can help people through a devastating part of their life. Marty and I have produced a digital series on relationships. It has to do with identifying people, their traits, their personalities. How can we best relate to people? We can make that available to you by, if you were to call us, let us know, or send an email message to ron@thecooperculture.com. Let us know of your potential interest in this digital course. It's incumbent on us to understand people, their personalities, and then be able to effectively relate to people. I am experiencing some aspects of our country that we seem to, in some cases, devalue life where we're not engaging with people. As we have a heart passion to engage with people, we're able to very effectively help people over any aspects of low self-confidence, low self-esteem, anything of that nature, and help people to make good decisions. As we engage with people and we speak from the heart, I truly believe we can have an impact on people, a very positive impact, and I think that we can help people make the right decisions that over time can help them avoid any wrong decisions that could lead to any form of addiction. I know there's some people who feel that they just don't have very many friends. It's not not our purpose to say that you must have any number of friends. However, it is a matter of accepting each other, just accepting who we are, being able to relate to in a very effective way, and have a desire to effectively interact with people. Leave some comments with us. Let us know your thoughts. Let's start a movement of how we can more effectively integrate with and interact with people and help them make better decisions. We're looking forward to engaging with you. Have a great day. We look forward to interacting with you.